The Importance of Taking Care of Our Mood, Our Main Resource, by Victor Küppers. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and before the world even has the chance to test you, your inner mood is already shaping how you are going to live this day. The way you look at yourself in the mirror, the tone you use when you greet others, the patience you show in traffic, the energy you bring to your work, it all comes down to one invisible yet powerful resource, your mood. Victor often reminds us that mood is not just something we carry. It is the very foundation of how we live. And in this journey, I want to take you deep into why caring for your mood is not a luxury, but a necessity if you want to live well, love well, and leave behind something meaningful. But before we dive in, I want to ask you to do something simple yet powerful. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the lessons you'll hear today can truly transform the way you show up every single day. And if this resonates with you, make sure you subscribe, give this video a like, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that our main resource is not money, not status, not possessions. It is our attitude, our emotional state, our mood. That is what drives everything. Now, let's begin. Think about your life for a second. You can have knowledge, you can have skills, you can even have extraordinary achievements, but if your mood is off, if your inner energy is drained, nothing else truly matters. Picture a highly skilled professional who wakes up each day filled with negativity, frustration, or despair. Their knowledge does not shine, their skills remain hidden under the weight of their own attitude. On the other hand, someone with average skills but a great mood can transform the environment around them, inspire trust, and open doors that qualifications alone cannot. Victor uses a beautiful formula to explain this. Your value is not only your knowledge and skills, but multiplied by your attitude. That attitude, that mood, is the amplifier. It determines whether your life feels meaningful or empty, whether others feel inspired around you or drained. That's why taking care of your mood is like protecting your main resource. It might sound abstract, but let's ground it with a simple example. Imagine two people working in the same office. They have the same workload, the same challenges, the same conditions. One approaches the day with frustration, complaining about everything. The other approaches the day with calmness, positivity, and determination. The first one drags themselves through the day, exhausting themselves and others. The second one lifts everyone's spirit, creates opportunities, and ends the day with satisfaction. The difference is not in their circumstances, it is in their mood. And this is where Küppers' philosophy strikes so deeply. We live in a world where we are trained to invest in external resources, money, career, possessions, appearances. But the resource that actually sustains us, the resource that multiplies the impact of everything else, is invisible. It is our ability to maintain a good mood, to guard our emotional state, to protect the lens through which we see life. But here is the challenge. Life constantly tests that resource. Circumstances pull us down. People disappoint us. Failures weigh on us. Our mood is fragile if we don't consciously take care of it. Think of it as a battery. If you don't recharge it, if you don't protect it, it runs out. And when your mood battery is empty, your knowledge and skills cannot function at their best. You cannot give your best to your loved ones, to your work, or to yourself. This is why taking care of your mood is not selfish. On the contrary, it is one of the most generous things you can do. When you maintain a good mood, you bring energy, kindness, and light into the lives of others. You become a better parent, a better friend, a better professional. You make the world lighter. Let's pause here. I want you to think, when was the last time you felt truly in a good mood? Not because something external made you happy, but because you chose to be well, because you cultivated inner peace, because you decided to focus on the good. How did that day feel compared to the days when negativity took control? The difference is enormous. That difference is the proof of what Victor emphasizes. Your mood is your main resource. Now, Some people might ask, but isn't mood something we can't control? Isn't it just a result of circumstances? This is where the key lies. Victor is not saying you can control everything in life, of course not. Life is unpredictable, and we cannot prevent problems, losses, or challenges. But what we can control is how we choose to react, how we choose to interpret events, how we choose to carry ourselves even in the middle of difficulty. And that choice is what shapes our mood. Imagine a storm. You cannot stop the rain, the wind, the thunder. But you can decide whether you will dance in the rain, whether you will protect your fire from the wind, whether you will let the storm pass knowing the sun will come again. That decision is your mood. It is not about denying reality. It is about facing it with an attitude that keeps you alive inside. And so, taking care of your mood is an act of responsibility. It is taking responsibility for your life, for the energy you bring into the world, for the person you become. This responsibility is not always easy, but it is essential. Let's think about what happens when you don't take care of your mood. Slowly, negativity becomes your default. You complain more often. You see problems instead of opportunities. You treat people harshly. You lose patience. You lose hope. And worst of all, you forget that life is short, fragile, and precious. You forget that your days are not endless rehearsals, they are your life. Every moment you spend in bitterness is a moment lost forever. That's why Victor insists. Your main task every day is to guard your mood, to nurture your attitude. It is not about ignoring your problems, but about not letting them define you. It is not about pretending life is perfect, but about choosing to stay kind, grateful, and optimistic even when it isn't. This doesn't mean forcing fake smiles or denying your emotions. Taking care of your mood also means allowing yourself to feel, to process, to rest, to recharge. It means respecting your limits, forgiving yourself when you stumble, and reminding yourself of what truly matters. At this point, I want you to reflect again. How often do you actually check in with your mood? How often do you ask yourself, what energy am I bringing right now? What attitude am I choosing? Many of us check our phones more often than we check our own state of mind. We pay attention to notifications, emails, messages, but we ignore the most important signal, the quality of our mood. Imagine if you started treating your mood as the most valuable resource you own. Imagine if every morning you asked yourself, what can I do to take care of my mood today? Maybe it's as simple as taking a walk, listening to music, saying thank you, helping someone, or giving yourself time to breathe. These small acts are not trivial. They are investments in your main resource. And this is where I want to leave you with a first call to action. Don't just listen passively. I want you to pause this video at some point today and write down 3 things you can do every day to protect your mood. It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple habits are powerful. This action will remind you that you have control, that you are responsible, and that your mood is too important to leave to chance. Because the truth is, at the end of your life, what people will remember is not your CV, not your possessions, not your titles. They will remember how you made them feel. They will remember your mood. They will remember your light. That is the essence of the message. And that is why we are here today. When we think about success, most people imagine something external. Achievements, financial stability, recognition, or status. But the truth is, none of these external results can be enjoyed if our internal state is not well. Our mood is the invisible filter through which we interpret everything. It is like wearing a pair of glasses. If the lenses are dirty, no matter how beautiful the view is, you won't be able to appreciate it. Think about the last time you were in a bad mood. Maybe you were tired, stressed, or frustrated. The same situations that might normally bring you joy suddenly felt heavy. A simple conversation felt like an argument. A small challenge felt like a mountain. Even food didn't taste the same. Now contrast that with a day when you were in a great mood. Everything seemed lighter, easier, even beautiful. That's the incredible power of mood. It colors the entire canvas of life. Victor often highlights this with passion. Mood is not just another aspect of life, it is the foundation. Without taking care of it, everything else loses value. With a good mood, even challenges can become opportunities. With a bad mood, even blessings can feel like burdens. Let's explore how this works in 3 key areas: performance, relationships, and perception of life. Mood and performance. Imagine an athlete preparing for a competition. They have trained for months, they know the techniques, they are physically ready. But if their mood is low, if they feel insecure, anxious, or discouraged, performance drops dramatically. The same applies to us in our everyday lives. Whether it's work, studies, or personal projects, our ability to focus, to be creative, to persevere, depends largely on the mood we bring into the task. Have you noticed how, when you're in a good mood, work flows more easily? Ideas come naturally, problems feel solvable, and time flies. On the other hand, in a bad mood, even the simplest tasks feel unbearable. This is why taking care of your mood is not just a matter of feeling good, it is a matter of performing at your best. Your knowledge and skills are tools, but mood is the hand that uses those tools. If your hand is weak, the tools won't matter. Mood and relationships. Now, let's talk about relationships. Every human connection we have is influenced by the mood we carry. Think about a family dinner. If one person arrives with anger, irritation, or sadness, the entire atmosphere changes. Everyone feels it. Mood is contagious. On the positive side, when you arrive with kindness, joy, and calmness, you uplift others. You make them feel safe, valued, and appreciated. This is why Küppers emphasizes that taking care of your mood is not selfish. It is actually one of the greatest gifts you can give to others. When your mood is well, you bring patience to your children, warmth to your partner, respect to your colleagues, and compassion to strangers. Your presence becomes a source of comfort instead of tension. Now think about the opposite. How many conflicts, arguments, or broken relationships are not caused by deep problems, but simply by bad moods? Sometimes we are not angry at the person in front of us, we are just tired, stressed, or frustrated, and we let that spill into the relationship. By taking care of our mood, we protect not only ourselves but also the people we love. Mood and perception of life. Finally, let's talk about how mood shapes our perception of life. Life is not what happens to us, it is how we interpret what happens. 2 people can go through the exact same situation and come out with completely different experiences depending on their mood. Imagine losing your job. One person might see it as the end of the world, drowning in despair. Another might see it as an opportunity to grow, to reinvent themselves, to find a new path. The external event is the same, but the inner mood changes everything. Or think about something simple, like a rainy day. When you are in a bad mood, the rain feels depressing, annoying, and inconvenient. But when you are in a good mood, rain can feel refreshing, calming, even romantic. Life itself doesn't change, the interpretation does. And that interpretation depends on your mood. This is why Küppers insists, life is too short to let a bad mood ruin your days. Because at the end of it all, your life is nothing more than the sum of your days. If you spend too many of them trapped in negativity, you will look back with regret. But if you protect your mood, if you live with lightness, gratitude, and kindness, you will look back with pride and joy. Let's pause and make this practical. What are the factors that usually affect your mood? Stress, lack of sleep, unresolved conflicts, financial worries, comparison with others? We all have triggers. The first step to taking care of your mood is becoming aware of those triggers. If you know what affects you, you can prepare, you can respond better, you can avoid unnecessary traps, but more importantly, you can cultivate habits that lift your mood regardless of circumstances. For example, gratitude. Writing down 3 things you are thankful for every day. Movement. Exercise, even just a walk, changes your physiology and boosts mood. Connection. Spending time with uplifting people who bring out your best self. Silence. Taking moments to breathe, to rest, to meditate, to reset. Generosity. Doing something kind for someone else. These habits may seem simple, but they are powerful protectors of your main resource. They are like daily vitamins for your mood. Now, let me ask you something important. If you knew that your mood today would determine the legacy you leave behind, how would you treat it? Because in a way, it does. The mood you carry is what people remember. They might forget your words, your actions, even your achievements, but they will never forget how you made them feel. This is the deeper reason why mood matters. It is not just about personal happiness. It is about human impact. When you are in a good mood, you create a ripple effect. You inspire others. You lift them up. You make the world a little better. That is a legacy worth protecting. We live in times where stress, comparison, and negativity are everywhere. News headlines are filled with fear. Social media often triggers envy or inadequacy. Workplaces are demanding. Families are under pressure. In such an environment, protecting your mood is like protecting a flame in the wind. If you don't shield it, it will go out. But if you guard it carefully, that flame can give light not only to you but also to those around you. And this brings us to something very practical. Many people believe they cannot change their mood until circumstances change. They wait for a promotion, a new relationship, more money, or better conditions. But Küppers reminds us that this is a trap, because circumstances may never be perfect. If you wait for them, you give away your power. The truth is, you can choose your mood now. You can decide today to see life through a lens of gratitude, kindness, and positivity. That choice is always available. Let me share a story to make this point vivid. Imagine a teacher walking into a classroom. She is exhausted from personal problems, overwhelmed by responsibilities. She enters the room with a heavy mood, and the students immediately feel it. The class becomes tense, uninspired, silent. Now imagine the same teacher, still with the same personal problems, but deciding to enter the classroom with energy, warmth, and enthusiasm. The students respond differently. They participate, they smile, they learn. The teacher's problems are still there, but her choice of mood transformed the environment. This is the power you carry. Your mood is not just personal, it is social. It influences everyone you touch. Every room you enter is changed by the mood you bring. That is why caring for it is your responsibility, your duty, and your greatest gift. Now I want you to take another step. This is not just about listening, it is about acting. Think of one person in your life who deserves your best mood. Maybe it's your partner, your child, your friend, or even a colleague. Commit today to showing up for them with kindness, patience, and positivity. Do it intentionally as a practice, and watch how it changes the relationship. Because here's the truth. When you give others your best mood, you don't just improve their lives, you improve your own. The joy of seeing someone smile because of your energy is one of the greatest feelings in the world. And it starts with the simple choice to take care of your main resource. By now, we've established that mood is not just another factor in our lives, it is the very foundation that multiplies or diminishes everything else. But knowing its importance is only the beginning. The real question is, how can we take care of our mood consistently, especially when life is demanding, unpredictable, and often unfair? Victor Küppers insists on something simple but transformative. Taking care of your mood is not about luck, nor about waiting for perfect circumstances. It is about building daily habits, conscious choices, and protective practices that nourish your inner state. Just like we brush our teeth every day to protect them, we must care for our mood every day to protect it. Let's explore some practical strategies. Simple, human, but deeply powerful. 1. Guard your mind. The first step is to protect what enters your mind. Your mood is heavily influenced by the thoughts you entertain and the information you consume. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, complaints, fear, and comparison, your mood will collapse. If you feed it with hope, gratitude, inspiration, and knowledge, your mood strengthens. Think of your mind as a garden. If you let weeds grow, they will take over. But if you plant flowers intentionally, the garden flourishes. This is why it is essential to choose carefully what you watch, what you read, who you listen to. Surround yourself with content and people that lift you up, not drag you down. 2. Move your body. Mood is not just psychological, it is also biological. When you move your body, you release endorphins, you regulate stress, you refresh your mind. Exercise is not only for physical health, it is a mood booster. And it doesn't have to be intense. Walking, stretching, dancing, or even taking stairs can shift your energy. Have you noticed how problems often feel smaller after a good workout or a simple walk in nature? That is not a coincidence, it is chemistry. Your body and mind are connected. By moving your body, you take care of your mood. 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for mood. Why? Because it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from lack to abundance. When you remind yourself of what you already have, health, family, friends, opportunities, you realize life is not as empty as stress makes it seem. Make it a daily ritual. Write down 3 things you are grateful for each morning or evening. They don't have to be big things. A smile, a meal, a safe home, these are treasures. Gratitude is like cleaning the window of your soul. Suddenly, you see life more clearly. 4. Surround yourself with good people. Küppers often emphasizes the importance of environment. The people around you affect your mood more than you realize. Negative people drain your energy. Positive people recharge it. Choose wisely. Of course, we cannot always choose who surrounds us, but we can choose how much influence we allow. And we can actively seek those who inspire us, who encourage us, who remind us of what truly matters. If you spend time with people who laugh, who dream, who care, you will naturally absorb their mood. 5. Rest and recharge. A tired mind is a fragile mind. Lack of sleep, constant stress, and endless work weaken your ability to stay in a good mood. Rest is not laziness, it is maintenance. Just like your phone needs charging, your body and mind do too. Respect your limits. Take breaks. Sleep well. Allow yourself silence. In those pauses, your mood heals. 6. Practice kindness. One of the most surprising ways to boost your mood is by helping others. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, bring joy not only to the receiver, but also to the giver. Science confirms this, but more importantly, you can feel it in your heart. Hold the door open, give a compliment, listen without interrupting, share what you have. These little gestures remind you that life is not just about problems, it is about connection. And connection fuels your mood. 7. Choose your focus. Life is a mix of good and bad. The question is, what do you focus on? Your mood follows your attention. If you focus only on problems, your mood darkens. If you focus on solutions, opportunities, and lessons, your mood strengthens. Choosing your focus does not mean denying reality, it means directing your energy toward what empowers you. Problems may remain, but your attitude toward them changes. The midpoint call to action. Right here, I want you to stop and act. Don't just listen passively. Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and write down 5 daily practices you can commit to for protecting your mood. They don't have to be complicated. Maybe it's 10 minutes of walking, writing 3 things I'm grateful for, reading something inspiring instead of scrolling endlessly. Spending time with someone uplifting, sleeping earlier. This exercise is not symbolic, it is practical. Because mood is not protected by theory, it is protected by habits. These habits, repeated daily, create the shield that keeps your main resource alive. Facing life storms with mood as armor, now let's be honest. No matter how many strategies we practice, life will still hit us. We will face losses, disappointments, betrayals, failures. But the difference between being destroyed and being resilient lies in mood. When your mood is strong, you face storms with dignity. You still feel the pain, but you don't collapse. You bend, but you don't break. You learn, you adapt, you continue. Your mood becomes armor, not because it eliminates suffering, but because it gives you the strength to endure it. Think about someone you admire. Chances are, it's not because of what they achieved, but because of how they faced life with strength, kindness, or joy, even in hard times. That is mood in action. That is why Küppers calls it our main resource. So, to care for your mood is to care for your entire life. It is the most practical, realistic, and generous thing you can do. It shapes your performance, your relationships, and your experience of living. And the good news is, it is in your hands. Through habits, through awareness, through conscious choices, you can cultivate a mood that keeps you alive, inspired, and impactful. Up until now, we've seen why mood is central to our lives and how we can actively take care of it. But let's be real. What happens when we don't? What are the consequences of neglecting our mood? And more importantly, how do we find balance again when life pushes us off track? These are critical questions because even with the best habits and intentions, none of us can maintain a perfect mood all the time. Life doesn't work that way. We all fall. We all get discouraged. We all face storms that shake us to the core. What matters is not avoiding those moments, but learning how to rise from them and recalibrate. The consequences of neglecting your mood. When we ignore our mood, the decline often happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. At first, it's just small irritations. Then it's fatigue. Then a lack of patience. Soon, it grows into resentment, bitterness, or hopelessness. Neglecting our mood is like ignoring a small leak in a boat. At first, it doesn't seem urgent, but left unattended, it floods everything. Here are some of the most common consequences of ignoring this resource. Decline in performance. When mood is low, focus disappears. Creativity vanishes. Productivity suffers. You may still show up, but you're not fully present. Damaged relationships. Bad moods spill over onto others. We snap, we withdraw, we lose kindness. Slowly, the bonds we treasure weaken. Loss of perspective. Problems look bigger than they are. Hope shrinks. Negativity takes center stage. Life begins to feel heavier than it actually is. Physical health impact. Stress and negativity don't just affect the mind, they harm the body. High blood pressure, weakened immunity, sleep problems, they are all linked to unprotected mood. Erosion of meaning. Perhaps the saddest consequence, when mood stays low, joy disappears. Even achievements feel empty. Life becomes a checklist rather than a gift. The tragedy is that all of this can happen while everything looks fine on the outside. A good job, a stable family, an organized life, and yet the inner mood is neglected. Slowly, the fire inside goes out. The turning point. But here's the good news. Even when we reach low points, it's never final. The same way mood can decline, it can also be rebuilt. This is what makes it such a powerful resource. It's renewable. No matter how far you've fallen, you can restore it. The turning point usually comes with awareness. It begins the moment you realize, my mood is not okay, and I need to care for it. That acknowledgement is powerful because it shifts you from denial to responsibility. It's like realizing your houseplant is dying, not because it's doomed, but because it needs water, sunlight, and attention. Rebalancing in difficult times. So, How do we recalibrate when life feels heavy? Accept, don't deny. The first step is to accept how you feel. Pretending you're okay when you're not only makes things worse. Mood care begins with honesty. Right now, I'm not in a good place. Acceptance is not weakness, it is the foundation of healing. Simplify. When life feels overwhelming, your mood cannot handle excess. Cut down what is unnecessary. Focus on essentials: health, rest, connection, small joys. Give your mood room to breathe. Reconnect with small pleasures. In dark times, joy feels distant. That's why it's important to find it in the small things. A warm drink, a walk in the sun, a good song, a smile. These small sparks can reignite your mood gradually. Talk and share. Mood improves when expressed. Bottling emotions only intensifies them. Sharing your struggles with a trusted friend, a loved one, or a mentor lightens the burden. Sometimes you don't need advice, you just need to be heard. Give yourself time. Healing mood is not instant. Just as a broken bone needs rest and patience, so does your emotional state. Be gentle with yourself. Allow the process. Return to meaning. One of the greatest mood restorers is reminding yourself of why you live, who you live for, and what you value most. Purpose is fuel. Even in the hardest times, reconnecting with meaning gives strength to rebuild. Stories of renewal. History is full of people who lost everything, yet chose to protect their mood, their attitude, their humanity. Survivors of tragedies, leaders who faced defeats, parents who endured unimaginable losses. They remind us of one thing. While we can't control circumstances, we can always choose our spirit. Think of a person who inspires you. Chances are, they've faced pain. But what makes them admirable is not the pain itself, it's their mood, their attitude in response. That is the ultimate proof that mood is our main resource. The ripple effect of recovery. When you rise from a low mood, you don't just heal yourself, you inspire others. People notice. They see your resilience, your determination, your refusal to let darkness win. And in doing so, you give them permission to do the same. This is why taking care of your mood in hard times is not selfish, it is leadership. You lead by example. You show others that even when life is unfair, you can still choose light. A gentle reminder: if you are listening right now and you are in a difficult season, let this be a reminder: your mood matters. You matter. And even if everything feels heavy, you have within you the ability to rise again. Don't aim to be perfect. Don't aim to be happy all the time. Aim to take one step toward caring for your mood today. Just one step. That's enough. So yes, neglecting your mood has serious consequences. But nurturing it, even after neglect, restores life, hope, and connection. Your main resource is renewable. It only asks for attention, care, and responsibility. And that is a power no circumstance can take from you. And so, as we arrive at the end of this long reflection, let's come back to the essence. Our mood is our main resource. It shapes the way we think, the way we love, the way we work, and the way we live. Everything else, skills, knowledge, material possessions, fades in comparison if the state of our inner world is neglected. Victor Küppers' message is both simple and profound. Take care of your mood, because it is the foundation of your life. Protect it like you would your health. Invest in it like you would your career. And cherish it like you would your closest relationships. When you start treating your mood as a resource, not an accident, your life begins to change. You handle setbacks with more resilience. You connect with people on a deeper level. You see opportunities where others only see problems. And most importantly, you live with a sense of joy and presence that no external success can replace. So here's the challenge for you. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect circumstances to take care of your mood. Create the circumstances by taking small steps daily. Wake up tomorrow and ask yourself, how do I want to feel? What choices will support that? and then act with intention. Because in the end, your mood is not only your resource, it is your gift to the world. When you bring light, you help others find their light too. Now, it's up to you. Protect your main resource, nurture it, and let it shine. Beginning. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next lessons that will help you grow and perform at your best. And share this with someone you care about, because our mood is too important to be ignored. Middle. If you're learning something valuable right now, give this video a like. It helps spread this message to more people who may need it. And let me know in the comments, what's one small habit you'll adopt to take care of your mood starting today? And don't just stop here. Protect your main resource every single day. Subscribe, share, and rewatch this when you need a reminder. Because taking care of your mood is not optional, it's the key to living your best life.